Hello and good evening. Our show will start promptly in about 10 or 15 minutes. Until then, please enjoy some of this royalty-free music right here on YouTube. Absolutely no copyright. Thank you again for your patience. Our show will start promptly at 6 p.m. Well, looks like I better turn this off over here so that people can see it over there. But in the interim, I just want to welcome each and every one of you to our show this evening. We have a great deal of folks that are going to be joining us tonight. I hope. Somebody may have a schedule that does not permit them to, and then others may. I'm going to go ahead in advance and put the link out there so that as our guests arrive, if there's anybody else who wants to join the chat, they are more than welcome to do so. Tell me, as we are waiting, because the tonight show we are looking at is what does it mean that husbands are to love their wives? Ronnie Mann should be joining us tonight, and I know he knows what that means. A lot of folks know what that means. I think they know what it means in theory. I don't think a lot of folks know what it means to be true. Especially considering that lately, what I've noticed is a lot of people are sort of mean to their spouses. A lot of men sort of want the wife to get out and do exactly what they're doing. Now, listen, I don't know whether that's because a lot of the women are listening to some of the talking points of feminism. I don't know what it is. But what I do know is I don't see a lot of it like it used to be. What I see a lot right now is a lot of meanness, which is what prompted me to talk about this because I really honestly wanted to find out if people knew what it meant to love your wife. Do you know that when I was a younger woman, I'm not sure what it looks like now because there are so many things that have changed in the Bible. When I was a younger woman, there was a point that we studied and it showed us that there was only one place where it said to love. The commandment to love the wife was given to the husband. Now, over the years, I've seen all kinds of things change in the Bible. I've seen all kinds of stuff. Again, we're still waiting. The show does not start until 6. But there are lots of different places where I see lots of different stuff. And unfortunately, the reason why I'm remembering back that far was because back then they were teaching the wives that in the Bible, there's only one place where it tells the husband to love the wife. And as it tells the husband to love the wife, our response to them was, well, why? Well, the answer is because you are reciprocal. Whatever is put into you, you put back out. Whatever is dropped into a woman, standardly supposed to give it back out. So tonight we're going to have a lot of guests. We got a lot of gentlemen that are coming on the panel. We're going to have a lot of folks. And the hello, Savage Entertainment. How are you? It's good to see you. I love your Monday shows. Boy, I be in there grooving my tail off. I be going down memory lane. If you guys haven't checked out Savage Entertainment's Monday show, it is a we don't care copyright show. And when I tell you they dig in the crates and they pull out all the good old music, I love it all. I absolutely love it. And there are a couple of DJs that he has that you have to stump, right? They want you to stump them, give them a couple of songs to see if can they mix it. Were they ever able to mix that? I think you were trying to do something with Michael Jackson, and it wasn't Michael Jackson and Sting, was it? It was Michael Jackson and somebody. And I know, oh no, Billy Idol. Not Billie Eilish or English or whatever this other guy named. He was trying to get the guy to mix up Billy Idol and Michael Jackson, and I think he did play it. He did. He tried it. He gave it a valiant effort. So with that said, yeah, you check that out, please. You'll want to check all that out. Okay, you want to check his channel out. And anybody else that's here, I want you guys to check it out. Until then, we got a few more minutes until the show actually starts and our guests begin to arrive. I'm going to go ahead and try to see if we can put on some more music. Hopefully, it'll work this time, and it won't say that I'm using my account elsewhere. Okay, again, the link to this copyright-free music is down below in the description right now.
Yeah.
This is from Ronnie Man. He will be here in a few minutes. Got about 4 more minutes before the show starts, so just sit back and relax. This is Ronnie Man, the only one.
That I know you the one. We living in the word like I know the sun. You the only one. Yeah. You said it's mine for the taking. You blow my mind with this thing called love. You know every move I'm making. You know everything I'm thinking of. And I'm thinking of you all of the time. Oh, yeah. I can't ever get you out of my mind. You are the only one. 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 It was always you from the start. It was always you all the time. I wrote you on my heart. I wrote you on my mind. And I'm thinking of you all of the time. Always. Say it. Oh, you are the only one. You are the the only, you are the only one. You are the only one. Only one.
To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping you along the way. Helping you to make it through another day. Yeah, yeah. Everything you need to know that you never knew, that you need to know. Lockhart Perspective.
Well, thank you and welcome to the Lockhart Perspective. Tonight is Friday night, and I just want to tell you guys that I'm very excited to have each and every one of you here with me tonight. You know what? I want to tell you something. I think that we have been taking things for granted. I think that women have taken the husbands for granted, and I think that society has beat up the men quite a bit. Does that sound crazy? Does it sound crazy? Yeah. To some, it just might sound crazy, but here's what I believe, and I'm gonna put it all together. And I know that our guests that are here with us tonight, they're gonna add a little bit more to it. But here's what I believe. I believe that the whole equality piece has caused a big rift in the marriage right now. I think that that husbands and wives don't have the balance that we all once did. And you know what else I believe? I believe that the equality that women are striving for now with the whole feminist movement and all that stuff, I believe that began and ended right there in the garden. I believe that at that point, prior to all of the stuff happening, I think we were all equal. How about that? Do you know why I believe that? And do you know why I believe that to be true? Well, because if you look at the verbiage of exactly what happened, and this is not for everybody, right? This is just for those individuals who follow the Bible. Other people might follow other things. They might follow the Quran. They might follow, all these different conversations from different doctors and pastors and things of that nature. They may follow a host of other things, but let me tell you the honest truth. The woman that is striving for equality with her husband right now will constantly strive. She's never going to achieve what it is that she's looking for, not in the totality that she expects. She's not going to get it the way she thinks she's going to get it. You know why? Because it's not ordained that she should have that. She was supposed to be subject to the husband, and he is supposed to be the husband, and that is to take care until the wife. So the land that the husband or husbandry or husband tills it's a agricultural term. It's a term that we use when we're talking about tilling of the land and making sure that the shrubs are neat and that the weeds are pulled out of the flower beds. So it's the husband that tends to the wife. So he puts into her, and as he puts into the garden just beautifies, and it's just beautiful, and it just flourishes. That's why I say that if you're looking for this equality that feminism is attempting to push you and bowl you over with, it's not going to happen. Because if you're doing anything outside of what is the real true principles, whether people want to rock them or not, if you're trying to do something outside of the real true principles, you ain't going to get it. You're a robber and a thief. So now, wife, you cannot throw the husband up under the bus and say, listen here, you're supposed to love me. You're supposed to do all of these things for me. What it says is, husband, love your wives as Christ loves ecclesia or the church. Love her the way he loves the church. But it doesn't say beat him up, verbally assault him, attack him, kick him, do everything that you can to make his life miserable, and then demand that he give you equality, and then demand that he is there for you at all points, and then demand that he takes care of all the bills and everything and takes all of your stuff, and he cannot have a side piece. Poor brother. That poor brother. That poor brother. Let's listen to a couple of reasons as to why some men may fall out of love right now. I want to give you guys this right here. We're going to read it. I'm going to give you the entire screen as I always do. Having not read it, as you guys know, I do not always read the things that we're going to read here together. And the purpose for that is so that you guys have it all to yourself, so that you can read it in tandem with me. Here's what they're asking is, hey, why have men fallen out of love? Now, this, of course, is a secular way. But again, like I always say here on the Lockhart Perspective, not everybody is a believer in the Bible. Not everybody is, a believer in Yah, much to my chagrin. I wish everybody was, but I love you either way it goes. So the 5 most common reasons men fall out of love with their wives. Okay, this is by Heather Lyon. And it goes on to say here, I'm going to read it exactly as Heather has written it. Okay, I hope that's all right with you. And while we're reading, please do not be afraid to take that link and jump on up here. Okay, Zara, hello, pretty lady. How are you? Good to see you, Zara. We're going to read this. And while we're reading it, this is Zara, everyone, my wonderful friend. Go ahead, Zara, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm just Zara. Not very much to say about myself. I'm sorry, I think my mic is gone, so I'm gonna opt out and leave.
No, you're welcome to stay. You're welcome to stay. I'm just going to read this and then we're going to open for questions. But we can hear you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. All right. I'm sure you guys can hear me. Ronnie, can you hear me now? Okay. I think you guys can hear me. Yeah, they can hear me. I think they can hear me. Put your mic back on. No sound from Lockhart. Hope you guys can hear me now. Hold on just a second. 5 by 5 now. Thank you, Ronnie. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. All right, so here we go, you guys. It says, a few weeks ago, I was in the middle of a coaching session with a male client when he said the unthinkable, quote, if I met my wife today, I wouldn't marry her. Ouch. His brutally honest comment stuck with me, she said, long after our session ended. And it got me to thinking, are the ways people in relationships change throughout the years and how falling out of love can happen? Oftentimes, she says, I'll see a couple who have been together so long that they've stopped trying to treat each other well. Making an effort doesn't seem worth it anymore. So they just settle into a comfortable complacency. And I think that's true. We see that all the time. She says, where each person transforms into mere shadows of their former vibrant selves. And that, unfortunately, is when many marriages begin the journey to divorce. Now, here it is. It says, here it is. It tells us here, now, is there a way to prevent this from happening? It says absolutely, but it requires putting your pride aside and taking an honest look at how you've changed over the years and being open to reconnecting with your best self. To get you started, she says, I've described the ways in which husbands feel their wives have changed for the worse that caused them to fall out of love and what you can do to turn it around and remind your husband you two really are meant to be. Here are the 5 most common reasons men fall out of love with their wives. One, oh boy, this is a big one. Zara, I'm going to put you and I both on the screen
Oh,
together for this one.
oh
Okay.
no,
Well,
I'm
just
gonna lose
listen.
interest.
It's okay, honey.
No.
You can just listen. I'm going to read it, but I just want them to see that I'm still here. So you can go on ahead. If you want to leave, you can. You know, I love you, but I'm going to go ahead and read this for everybody. Okay. All right. It says the number one reason of the 5 most common reasons that men fall out of love with their wives is number 1, she no longer respects and or likes her husband. It says, think back to when you first fell in love with your husband. He was probably someone you really respected or at least liked a whole lot. But after 10 years together, instead of laughing when he makes his corny jokes, you roll your eyes instead of listening to his long-winded stories, and you interrupt him and you tell him to hurry up instead of complimenting the good in him. You begin to
What the
criticize
fucking one that
the
you did
bad.
10 million times
begin to
before? The
criticize
10
the
years
bad.
prior. Are you supposed to laugh
Hello,
again?
Illuminated.
Oh my
How
God.
are
Hey, how you
you?
doing?
Good evening to you, sir. How you doing tonight?
Good, ma'am. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. So now this is a topic that we are dealing with tonight, specifically married couples and how they are, you know, not necessarily still connected. But the question that I ask and the question that I posed to everyone at the top was, what does it mean, husbands, love your wives? So right now we're looking at a right now we are looking, Illuminated, at a article that is listed
Mrs.
here.
Lockwood,
Yes,
can
darling.
we have an introduction? Because that is just standard. I don't know whether it's British or what. You're supposed to introduce me and we say hello to each other. That's it.
Tell you what, Precious, let me go on ahead and do this little part right here, and then we'll do that. That's the reason why when you came up, I just said, hold on a second, but hi to everybody. This is Zara. And as you guys remember, she said she just wants to be known as Zara.
No to the dude at the bottom. That's all. You go, hi, this is
Illuminated.
Zara. This is blah blah. Illuminated.
Okay.
I've seen you guys.
Zara, honey, hold on, baby. Okay, I need you to hold on. Illuminated, you know Zara.
Ma'am.
Okay, so here's the deal. So the way that we are looking at it right now is a lot of times you find couples who are not necessarily happy anymore. And what I said at the very beginning was that when you're looking at it, you're seeing the scriptures that say that husbands are to love their wives. But I remember back in the day, there were passages that you did not see where wives love your husbands. We saw it being reciprocal as it relates to being humble to one another, as it relates to being submissive to one another. But we never saw anywhere specifically where it says, wives, go and love your husbands. We never saw that. And the reason why we never saw that, I said at the very top of the hours, was because it generally was for us to receive from the husband and then put out. The same analogy as I used with the garden. With the garden, husbandry, meaning that it is definitely a horticulturist word or an agricultural word. He takes care of the garden and the garden pulls back out. So he puts in and then he reaps what he has sown in. Do you agree with that?
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
So, yeah. So what
Because
we're
that's
going to
actually a biblical analogy from the Old Testament, when God began to talk about his relationship with Israel. He was the husbandry, and how he who gave Israel a bill of divorcement. So it gets off the marriage symbology versus our relationship is the same thing. God uses that to let us know how a relationship actually is supposed to transpire, and a lot of people miss that.
Absolutely. And so when we consider what the Bible tells us, when we consider what the word tells us, we then have to begin to follow it. But here's the adage that I hear a lot of people doing now. We are taking the whole entire biblical question and we're turning it on its ear. And we're saying, well, that was for another time. It's not for this time. Okay.
Right.
It is not for now. It is for a totally different time. And so it is for those who follow the word in any shape or form. Okay. In any way, shape, or form, you have to follow with the whole role. No, I
Right.
think for those, hello, Shaq. How you doing, Shaq? This is illuminated Shaq.
Hey,
I
Chef.
think what the deal is that now is that a lot of people are being so bombarded with this whole feminist thing,
Yeah.
with the whole feminist piece, the feminist piece, the feminist piece, and it's beginning to beat a lot of people up.
Right.
And so yeah, so we're gonna go on ahead and we're gonna wait for a couple of more seconds here, but here is the first point that I do want to put out to the panel, and we're going to talk about it. And Zara is back as well, so we're gonna listen to Zara. We lost her for a second. I don't know how that happened, but I didn't even know she had left. Here, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just talk about this first question. Zara, can you hear me?
You hear me?
Zara, can you hear me?
Yeah, you can
Okay,
now.
Zara. All right. So the way that we're doing it tonight, y'all, we're just going to read the questions and then we're all going to chime in and talk about it. And you can be as free as you want. This is Zara, folks. Again, this is Zara. She says she doesn't want any great anything except for she's Zara, and she's Zara, but she's special to us. So there's illuminated Zara as well as my brother. How you doing tonight, sir? You know
Peace,
I'm talking
peace.
about you, Mr.
Shalom. How you
Smooth.
good people doing tonight, man?
Shalom, shalom. How you doing?
And I'm doing awesome, baby. I'm doing awesome. What's going on, brother?
Good.
What's going on, son?
Hello.
How you doing, man?
She's doing Zara. How you doing?
Good evening, Shalom. Good evening, Mrs. Of course,
So you
Mrs.
guys, let's
McCall.
look at it. The first one is that she just does not respect him anymore. I'm throwing it out in the middle of the bullpen. She don't respect him.
No,
She don't respect
I'll
you.
be honest. I was married for 15 years, and this is a hard one for me. It feels like I've just been thrown into counselling at the deep end because I was like, do you know what? I stopped respecting him. I stopped thinking he was funny. His jokes got old. He told me the same stories again and again. But if he told it to a new woman, it'd be so new and it'd be so, you know, funny and, you know, how do you stop that? You've got to work with that. So I don't know. I
Well,
don't
my
know how
question
do
is why, I don't know. You guys, what do you have to say to that? Because she's right. There are a lot of times where over the years we go through different problems, we go through issues, and sometimes it's just not funny no more. Why does that happen? Illuminated, why do you think it happens?
Well, for me, it's you have to reestablish and get reacquainted. The things I know it sounds old, and for us old folks, it sounds like a cliche, but you got to start doing the same things that you did when you were dating. You know,
yeah.
and a lot of times you have to do something refreshing, something new, and it can't be redundancy. You have to go on trips. You got to spice up things. You hear that? You got to spice things up.
Mm.
And those are some of the things that I think people forget that once you grow old, it's not like you stop having fun.
It's
I mean, you can
it's
have fun.
complacency,
Yes,
and
that's true.
you
That's
do
true.
you fall into that. I do get. Are you illuminated? I've seen you a few times. I know you've come up with a different name, but nice to
That's
meet
him.
you.
That's illuminated. That's generally his name is
Mm.
illuminated.
No, well, I've seen you about, and I do watch all these channels. I don't generally comment, because it gets a lot of backlash. But
Yeah.
obviously, I'm a little bit against the grain, so what I say doesn't really go down, like some.
Yeah.
I'll be like, you're
But
talking shit. You know?
also too, Miss Lockhart, what I've come to realize, for me and you, they redefine what marriage is. I'm glad you brought that first point up. They're redefining in words, and I say this, and people say that doesn't. I say yes, you guys are redefining what relationship and what marriage is. It hasn't changed, even though we get slammed in reference to hey, you guys don't know how it is out here and blah, 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 blah. I got it, but it still hasn't changed. It
Do you know
hasn't.
what? Do you know what hurts me the most when you're saying these words? Something properly like punches me in my stomach. Because
What?
when you say marriage, it sounds like you mean it. The word marriage. I think the word marriage in this country is just thrown about as you've got a ring on your finger. It's not, there's no actual commitment. There's no genuine commitment. It's just you say those words at the altar and go, I do. You have a nice piss up, at the end of it, in a nice suit. And that's it. So I don't think it doesn't mean as much. I'll be very honest, it really doesn't mean as much in this country here. And this is why I said no. I said no for years. I did it legally and then I did it for his benefit, for his family's benefit again. And I was like, I knew it was wrong both times. The way you think of it, I have met an American that he wants to marry me and he wants me to move over there. And I'm like, no, it's cold. It's a cold state. I'm not doing it. Move.
Well, you know what, Shaq? I wanted to ask you, what do you think about it when the woman just doesn't respect him anymore? She doesn't have any more respect for him. She no longer likes him. How long do you think, Shaq, how long do you think a relationship will last after something like that sets in? And what do you think about that? Are you there, Shaq?
I'm here. I hear you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And you young ladies. I got married at a young age, at 22, 23. And I got married trying to be the stand-up guy and do the right thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you guys, first, before I ask you, what do you think about that?
What, trying to get married and be the stand-up guy?
Stand-up guy, do the right thing, you got
Was it
pregnant.
A shotgun wedding? What kind of wedding we talking about?
Well, it was not shotgun because we was in the church. It's in St. Louis, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
We was in the church. We was going to church together. We was building a relationship. We was young, and she introduced me to going to church. I already knew about the church and reading the Bible, but I never went. So we was building a relationship, going to church, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so we got married in the church from the pastor that we was up under.
Mm-hmm.
They put everything together, her aunties and stuff. They put it together because we planned it. We was talking about it throughout the relationship. We talked about it on a specific date.
Mm-hmm.
And the specific date came up November 25th. November 25th, 2004. It came up, right? And then, what happened?
Nothing. We giving you the floor.
Oh, okay, yeah. So November 5th, because she was into the dates and all this stuff. So she said November 25th, I think, 2004. That date came, and we kept, BSing around, and it was the day after Thanksgiving. They was like, her auntie was like, well, I thought y'all supposed to be getting married, blah, blah, blah. We was like, yeah, we think about it. We said they had the date set, and I don't know. Man, Ms. Lockhart. I kid you not.
I'm gonna know.
What happened?
You could say.
What happened after that, Shaq?
I've got the date there. Well, how can you say?
Baby, let him finish. Let him finish, Zara. Let him finish.
I want him to finish, but I want him to explain. What you can't say.
Zara, I love you, precious, but you can't come over here and run things. You're gonna have to let my guest finish, and then we're gonna talk to him when he's done. Okay?
I haven't even spoken.
Okay, let's let him finish because he got right there to the cliffhanger, and I want to hear the cliffhanger.
So Thanksgiving was that Thursday, the 25th or 24th. So we was all at Thanksgiving dinner, and they was like, I thought y'all gonna get married. He was like, yeah, we pushed it back another year or two. We just, man, her family members, man, got that wedding together, man. So y'all gonna get married. They got that wedding together in 2 days. Saturday we was getting married. They put everything together in the church. Man, they had everybody come. They got things together, the food and everything.
No.
Yeah.
Ms. Lockhart, that sounds like a shotgun to me.
So that's a shotgun, huh?
That's a shotgun. That's a shotgun. That's a shotgun. That's totally a shotgun.
But yes, if the woman, your wife falls out of love with you, and that could be a multiple things that lead up to why they fall out of love. But definitely, you would have to have a sit down and have a conversation, and you would have to move yourself away from that situation, because if the love is not there, I mean, slowly the trust leaves, the loyalty leaves, the respect leaves. So you left in shambles. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you would have to figure out how to exit that situation. And I'm always trying to figure out how to exit the situation without it being so
Yeah. Well, here goes the next question.
Mm-hmm.
The next question is, she stopped taking care of herself physically and emotionally. Now, when you first met your husband, you probably went to great lengths to be your best self. You got your hair done, you wore makeup every day, you exercised regularly, and you stayed in control of your emotions. But as the years went by and his place in your life became more permanent, it says all those efforts just didn't seem so important anymore. Face it, you let yourself go and your husband noticed. It's normal to lose steam, especially if you were telling yourself that you were getting dressed up for him or staying fit to be more attractive to him. It won't stick unless you do it for you. Okay, let's talk about it. Is that true? Does that happen? Why are you cracking up laughing, Illuminated?
Because, I mean, oh my God, I mean, you love your wife, until death do you part. Mm-hmm. But then you have to have that heart-to-heart conversation, even though she would have that same conversation with you. Babe, you put on some weight,
mm-hmm.
And then sometimes it's mutual. We look at each other like, hey, we let ourselves go. We need to get to the gym. Let's go, And I know we had a conversation on one of the other panels. Sometimes you be kind of harsh or real direct, but it's a way you can tell your spouse and your wife, say, hey, let's get it together. Hey, would you like to go to the gym with me? You make those subtle suggestions,
and
then you change your diet.
Have you just said that's a subtle suggestion? Do you want to go to the gym with me?
Yeah. That's the nice way to do it. That's a nice way to do it, So, I mean, like I said, we just.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Ms. Lockard, how long you been there to your husband?
Babe, put down those crackers. Would you like to go to the gym with me? No. I want to smash the whole packet right in your face right now.
We've been together close to 20 years.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Close to 20 years.
Yeah.
And the first marriage I suffered was right at 20 years. I suffered a loss with that one. It was right at 20 years. But I tell you what, both of these questions are sort of hitting close to home, because you don't really even think about these kind of questions until you're reading them in a forum like this. Yeah. But I feel like, a lot of times you find the husband. Huh?
What did I just say backstage? I said this is a bit too close to home. It's hitting a bit more.
I think it's close to home for all of us, but I also think that it's really important because, from a scriptural standpoint. Hey, Ronnie, man, here's my brother, Ronnie. Hey, brother.
Apparently,
from a scriptural standpoint, it's like uber urgent, because you find a lot of people right now that are running around with a lot of different talking points, and some of those talking points are preventing you from really hearing truth, because there's so much noise out there right now that there's a lot of people who may not be, me, I'm not a Christian, right? I don't follow Rome. I'm not a Christian, but I certainly follow the scripture, right? As much as I can. All right. Because I'll be honest with you, as long as I'm in this earth suit, I am definitely able to make some mistakes and some errors. But what I will say is this: I think a lot of times people try to get themselves really tight and really try to make sure that everything is right and all these other aspects. But there are points that we do lose. She may not have looked like that when you guys was in high school. She may not have had that extra little, fupa piece of bread in the front that looked like a burger top. She may not have had none of that. And here go the funny part is the brothers be sitting up talking about the chicks, and I'll be looking like, you got that Dunlap, my friend. Your belly done lapped over your belt.
Bald spot on top of your head, you losing your hand on the top of your head, huh?
I have 2 Zaras. I'm going to need one of you to cam up. Let me see your face and give me a peace sign, please. I just got another Zara back in the back here. So I need to have this other Zara give me your peace sign so I can see you. I have 2 Zaras back here. Okay, Zara, is this you? Okay, so I don't know what's going on, but nonetheless, yeah, but that is the deal. You find that a lot. But as far as that one passage that I was talking about, the what does it mean? We're going to get back to the topic of the question. What does it mean? Men's love your wives. Men's men, husband, love your wives. What does it mean? That's a very powerful question. Ronnie, how you doing, sir?
I'm well, thank you.
Thank you. What does it mean?
I hate to come in and change the subject real quick, but that background music, if you could just turn it down a smidge for the people, just a smidge for the people.
A little bit more than that, it's off.
Oh, now it's off. Okay.
I mean, it was loud though. I mean, because Fatty was like, please turn it down. And I tried, I went all the way down to 8.
Yeah, but
can you hear this? Going, can you hear this?
Keeping the momentum going though.
Can you hear that?
Talking about getting in the gym, everybody getting in the gym. Is that too
loud? Hold on. Let's take a break.
Okay, you can jam up.
Okay, I'm gonna do the alto, Ronnie. You go ahead and get the tenor. Okay, go. This is Ronnie Mann, you guys. He is the man who wrote my theme song. He is the man who sings the theme song. He is the man. Ronnie just the man. Ronnie Mann, he's just the man. So I thought I'd blow your horn right there. Go ahead, brother. I'm gonna let you have the screen to yourself. We're gonna fall back a little bit and tell us about that. Go ahead.
Nah,
going back to this, going down to the passage or the part that you were talking about.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Also, shout out to the illustrious panel. But somebody was talking about, we need to hit the gym or what have you. I guess that just depends on preference or what have you. But in actuality, at the end of the day, if you're asking my opinion, it's really like hitting that gym. It's really about health and the longevity of the quality of life that we're going to spend with each other. And, we can't be selfish in that because we want to have, the latter years of our life to be quality. But if you have to tote me around in a wheelchair all day because, certain things, that's, it's selfish on my part for eating or whatever I'm doing that's going to prevent us from having that specific quality of life later on. So maybe hitting the gym, maybe not so much for Dunlap because somebody might like some Dunlap, but definitely for the quality of life as far as health wise.
Man, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you guys what you know how that old people used to say, the devil is a liar. Let me tell you how this pandemic was a liar. I did not realize that I had like an extra, like small little inner tube. I didn't realize. I did not realize this thing had crept up on me. Okay. And we had taken all the mirrors and I had brought all the mirrors from Georgia here not long ago. And see, when I owned the salon, I had mirrors everywhere. There were like mirrors all over the place. So when we closed down that big salon in Georgia and moved out to Alabama a few years ago, I did not have access to all of those mirrors. Well, time went on and, those 24 months sort of flew by. We all stayed in the house and got in and out, in the house, out the house, in the house as we could. Man, we undid all of that stuff not long ago and I put the mirrors up and I saw a glimpse of this woman. And I said, whoo. Lord have mercy, it was me. It was me. And I said, oh no, you guys should have seen me running back to keto. I ran back to keto. When I tell you I ran back to ketosis, I'm like, I'm in ketosis now. I was like, oh no. Oh, I have no clue. Hey, Fatty, how you doing, brother? I was
Hello.
like, I have no clue who this chick was or is, but there is no way that I will ever be like this. I can't. I just can't. So, yeah, I understand. And I do feel like a lot of times when we're looking at putting the blame on people, yeah, we can use this as that, oh, yeah, she doesn't look the same. But I do believe that men are, they're visual. You know what I'm saying, Ronnie? They're visual. So what do you guys think about that? We all saw the question. You know, she just, she just gave up. She don't work out no more.
Yeah.
No,
I thought
it's
you guys were
hard.
talking about relationships, so you're talking about diet, so I'm going to leave. Thank you.
No, we're talking about the relationship. The
No,
question was,
because there's a diet, Miss Lockhart, and I'm against diets. I'm against eating.
oh no.
Now
I
I'm
have
free.
to. You
I'm
say
free.
no, you against it. So this right here, it says, say it again.
She's talking about giving up. When you're in a relationship, when you meet somebody new, you always think, oh, I want to look my best. I want to keep up. If I'm going to the gym, that's just maybe 2 times a week. Oh, I want to look my best. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to wear this. I want to wear that. But after so long, after 10 to 12 years, you sort of go, yeah, I'll just wear my pajamas. He doesn't give a shit. He knows what I look like. You
But
know,
for me, I
at
don't
what,
want to
at
lose no
what,
weight for a
is that
man. I
he's
want to lose weight
talking
because I
about
want to live.
fatty? By the way, I've noticed, by the way, you diss me in the comments. So there's no avoiding that now. You're on the panel, you bitch.
We can have this conversation after the show is finished. Okay.
No, we can't. I'm having it right
Yeah,
here.
we're gonna have to, sweetie. We got a
Of
show
course
to
we can.
run. Okay. I'm Zara. We're gonna drop you down right now, okay? And we're gonna invite you back when we're not on such a tight schedule. Okay, honey? So what we're doing is we're looking at just the relationship part of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like the relationship piece of it is that when you're in a marriage, the husband is really, really, really not being treated the way that he should. But then there's also the part of what we're not doing. And that's the piece that I don't think. I don't think that we're looking at, yes, we know he's supposed to love us, but I don't think we're looking at the part that we're supposed to do. I really don't. Hi,
Yeah,
Taylor. How you doing?
that's correct. I think Ronnie brought up a good point about quality of life. That right there is something that means a lot, because when something happens and you just, like you said, on the second question, she just let herself go. You have to have that conversation. Are you thinking about the long term? Are you thinking about your health? Are you thinking about, we supposed to be, in this for the long haul? And a lot of times on both sides, that's on men and women. A lot of us don't think about that. We let ourselves go, and we call it, in our community, we call it good living. This is good living. No, brother, that's good diabetes, good cholesterol, good high blood pressure, and your health is failing you. And I think that you can get into a point where that becomes a little bit selfish, and on the relationship part. So, like I said, made the statement earlier, I think those are conversations that we have to have. And just to share a little bit of my personal life, what my wife went through, it was a really tough time, you know, because we didn't know what the outcome was going to be, so it wasn't about me, it was about her,
Mm-hmm.
so all the little things that I wanted to do, no, it
Mm-hmm.
was about you. It's about you, sweetheart. It's about you, what you want to do. So, and sometimes that adversity really tests the strength of your marriage also,
That's true.
so those
But
are
let me
those.
ask you this question. I want to ask you this question. What does it mean, husbands, love your wives? What does that mean?
When we talk about husbands, usually there's duty involved, taking care of someone, actually. I think
Mm-hmm.
most men look at it like that. Love your wife, take care of your wife. When it comes to the woman, there's a different point. But I think most men usually, I don't know if they know for what they are going to, I don't know if they know where they are going, but I think they have an understanding that something drastic is going to change, and that at least I think they are aware that they are going to have to sacrifice a lot to be together. And I think that's why, because I was hearing Illuminated before, and he said that things didn't change, and I'm lucky that I had my father and my mother married for more than 40 years, both healthy and alive. And we don't function like that. We younger people don't function like that. I think our brains, like the people that were born and lived throughout the internet era, our brains move way faster, like too much, not way faster in a good way, like too much information. We are easily distracted. We are always looking for the next thrill. So when it comes to a marriage, when things are supposed to be slower, less risky, we become complacent, we become bored. And if we are experiences, even in relationships of boyfriend and girlfriend, when you ask, love your wife, the scary part is, for how much? How many years? 10, 7, forever. So it becomes a daunting question.
Ronnie, what does it mean? Husband, love your wives. Taylor, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. You?
Doing pretty good. Anybody, go ahead and take a stab at it. Ronnie, what does it mean, husband, love your wives?
Yeah, that's a loaded question, actually. I mean, because I'll have an answer that has nothing to do with loving your wife.
Okay, go ahead.
Because first and foremost, how can you love your wife if you don't even know yourself? You need to love yourself first, and you have to know yourself, or at least have the starting concepts of, you know, knowing who you are, you know, your morals, your standards, things of that nature. And before you can take on, listen, love, you think it's an emotion, it is a duty. It is a duty. And before you can take on this massive duty, you have to have an established concept of who you are, first and foremost. Because if you, you know, biblically, you know, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So if you're going to love your neighbor as you love yourself, you definitely need to love your wife as you love yourself. But if you don't even know who you are, how can you begin to love yourself? And then, are you loving yourself in a healthy manner, in a healthy demeanor? And then that extends to your significant other from there. So, like, first and foremost, we have to take introspect before we can even begin to embark on such a massive endeavor of something called marriage. That's a starting take on it.
That's pretty powerful, to be honest with you, because I don't think anybody ever thinks about it that way. Hey, B Rose, I don't think people think about it that way. As far as, you know, I really don't. I don't think anything is traditional anymore. But what I'm seeing right now is a lot of people struggling, both men and women. But you remember, Ronnie, I said a while back that men were going to start to take the brunt of everything. That was about 2-3 years ago. And now here we are, that everybody has Me Too'd all the men out. The men are exhausted. They really honestly are. A lot of them are exhausted. And so now what we're seeing is a lot of the men are just speaking out. Some are speaking out in maybe not the best way, but they're speaking out the best way that they can. And there's a lot of pain out there. But when you think about husband, love your wives, I think you just hit the nail on the head about getting your mind right first, figuring out who you are. Once you can figure out all of that, then you can go ahead and move forward. Y'all go ahead. Y'all can take it. I think so. You guys are muted though. Why y'all muted?
Because we listening.
Oh, okay.
Listening.
Well, y'all go ahead.
I would
I'm
like
gonna
to
drop
add something to
down.
it.
I'm gonna drop down. Go ahead.
I would like to ask a question too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to add, Ronnie. I like the way you answer that, because this question is loaded, and it's relatable. It's a reality, and we can't just answer. So the way you answered, I like that. I just want to add to another angle to the husbands love your wives and wives love your husband. I think we love each other, right? But I've heard the late great Dick Gregory put a different spin on it and ask you, can you be lovable? So I've looked at things. I said, well, hold on. Let me look at that. Can you be lovable? What does that mean? Can you be lovable? So some of the things you said, Ronnie, I think that plays a part of can you be lovable on both ends, because who are you? Do you love? Do you respect yourself? Can you be lovable yourself? What does that mean? Right? I think we need to start looking at things, all angles. You know what I mean?
I have a question for you guys. Do you guys think men really go to relationships to be loved? Because
No.
I never
No.
been married, right? I never been married. But what I noticed, for example, looking at my father and all my friends, as long as the women are grateful for their efforts, the men are very okay with not being loved. I think men when they usually go to relationships, is the need of fulfillment to take care of someone. Because I see a lot of men that are kind of miserable in their lives, but as long as their wife is smiling and the kids are smiling, they are smiling too because they're okay. It's just a need to fulfillment.
In a respect, I think. Sorry, I think that men want to be respected in the relationship more than they want to be loved. And at the same time, like most men, it seems my age and younger, I'm 35, so me down, probably me up too, but are also going to a relationship looking for validation or a sense of self, because there's a bunch of adult children, running around. So that's sort of, those two desires are at odds with each other. If you need to be validated by someone and respected by the same person, you're trying to lead and follow at the same time, and it creates a situation.
Yeah.
I concur.
Also, too, you have to look at love as an action. A lot of times, they redefine, love as an emotion, but love is an action. When we get into a relationship long term, or any, and you and your spouse begin to go down the road of marriage, you have children, you raise them. That's something that's a part of the relationship, to where you just, with today's, like Miss Lockhart said, people are really struggling out there. There's a lot of pain out there. Men are just checking out. They're going to the gym, getting their portfolios together. They just don't want to. They just don't want to be bothered because of all the toxicity that's out there, and it's really sad. And I know men. I know men really do want to have a family and things like that. I saw a YouTube short that talked about that. There's a sperm shortage. And I just looked at that, and the lady was talking, and I was like, are you serious? There's a sperm shortage at the sperm bank, and men are not donating anymore. And I sit up there and I just laughed. I said, I wonder why. After all this feminism and all this stuff that you women, not say women as a whole, but the women in part, wanted to proclaim, wanted to do this. Men are, like Miss Lockhart said, men have just checked out. Emotionally, socially, they just don't want to be bothered. We get on these panels and I hear the single men and they talk and they just want to have conversation. Men are simple. We're logical. We're not very difficult. We just want simplistic things. Turn on the football game, watch a basketball game, and just, have fun. It's not that complicated.
If I had to add to what he said, okay, you can go. I'll go after you.
No, go ahead, because I'm going to ask a question. Go ahead.
Okay, if I had to add to what he said, society, and this is what, like you said, some men is what I think about. Me and my partner have these conversations a lot, back and forth, and it's hard enough just being a man because all the duties that you are supposed to, hold down. They added a new thing to it where men go out and have to compete against each other, right? That's just nature. They've added the fact that we've got to compete with the woman now. Now the woman and men are competing against each other. So they're going to be combative and bump heads because we have to compete with each other. Society has thrust us into a wrestling match with each other.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That goes back to what I said at the very top while we were doing the warm up. And that was that the last time men and women were equal was in the garden, and that once it became evident that the woman could not be trusted with any level of independence, she had to go up under the husband. And if you look back at it, because what did y'all say? He said, okay, now look at here. You gonna have to be subject to your husband. Why? Because you went out here and did what you needed, what you wanted to do. That's the last time we were ever equal. And the reason why you keep finding all of us trying to fight, the women trying to fight for equality, just do your gig. I said this the other night on another panel. Just do your job.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
If you just do your gig, you ain't got to worry about the rest. Just do you what you're supposed to do before you run out here and try to be a little him. Do you, but you don't know how to do that because it's now the contention, just like you said, the contention between the man and the wife, and then you got society pushing that crap. Now you got the children and everything is in disarray. And the question is, when are they going to get back normal? They're not going to get back to normal. There is no normal. There is no more.
Nope. But you hit the nail on the head, Miss Lockhart, due to the scripture. That is the most painful thing that the woman faces because it's what God said. It's not what Miss Lockhart said. It's not what Ronnie said. It's not what Shaq said. It's not what Taylor. It's not even what Fatty said. It's what God said. And so what I find out in through the Bible, it is easy to attack the messenger instead of the instead of the message.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm going to play devil's advocate because there's a lot of people who will say, well, hey, I don't follow the Bible. Well, then how do we get through to those folks? How do you help people who don't follow or subscribe to what you subscribe to? Because to be candid, there's a lot of people that's out there that's hurting right now. And to me, I don't care if it's the cat down the road. I'm going to help whoever it is.
Right.
And I don't just say, okay, I'm only going to help people who believe like I believe. Because to me, that's ridiculous. Then you're not trying to help nobody but those who look like you. So what do we do? And then Fatty had a question too.
Yeah, I'll let Fatty ask his question after this, and I'll let somebody else cook. But for me, you just minister to them. You don't have to, be a Bible thump and beat people over the head.
Yeah, because people are tired of that. People don't want to hear that. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. So what you do, Miss Lockhart, like the scripture says, you make your life and your livelihood a living epistle whereby men can be read by them. You don't have to preach. You just live that life in front of them, and they'll see as a good example. And then they say, well, how did you guys get through this? And then they begin to ask inquisitive questions and begin to inquire about your relationship. So my thing is, when you minister to people, all you have to do is just be a good example and love on them, and just absolutely love on them. People always say, love me where I'm at. Okay, I'll take you where you're at. And then let's see where we can go from here. But you just have to be the best example to people. And then again, well, that's you. I don't want to follow that example. Well, then obviously you don't want my help. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to judge you. You asked me for my help. I'm here to help. And you extend that hand, as we used to say, that right hand of fellowship. If they want it, fine. If not, that's on them. You just have to love people where they're at, and then to be honest, on some of these panels, like I've been hearing, some people just don't want to be helped, and some people are just going to be left behind. That's just the bottom line. It hurts to say that, but I didn't want to admit it myself for a long time. I believe it was Mr. Fantastic said it on one of the panels. He said, it's a rescue mission. We're going to rescue who we can, get in the boat. Come on, I'm going to invite you. After that, you have to leave people where they're at. And it sounds harsh, but that's just life.
Well, Fatty is going to be moderating for the majority of the night, bouncing back and forth for the next, little bit here. So Fatty, you go ahead and take it away. And I think Taylor and you both were next. So you take it away. I'm here.
I have a question for the panel, because Miss Lockhart said one thing that I don't agree, right? She said men are tired, right? I think it's actually the opposite. I think men of the past were really tired, but they were accustomed to that life. I think we, on our 30s, 20s, like with the new technology, series, PlayStations, NFL, NBA, going to the movies, all that, I think we are in peace with being alone. I think a lot of men, because we were conditioned to have families very young, and have big families, living with our grandma and our grandpa, extended uncles, cousins, and it was like a community. So everyone would do the same. But I think that now that we are more isolated and we talk more with each other on the internet right here than we talk with our own family, I think men finally are in peace with being alone. Some men, like I and sorry for the language, I still believe that a lot of men in this space are lonely to the point where they are one blow job away from the I think they are one away from coming back to the plantation. I really do. But I think that as soon as they usually get the affection and the touch that they used to, they snap back and say, like I was very okay with looking at the mirror and I was in good company, right? I was in good company with a person that was with my shadow, right? So I think men are not tired. I think most men started to become in peace with the realization that they probably might spend the rest of their lives alone. Do you guys agree? Do you disagree? What do you think?
I agree, actually, with I didn't disagree with the claim that men are tired of it, and I still don't, but I also agree that there's a lot of people who are just, one good experience away from snapping out of it. But I wanted to respond to the question about how you reach people that aren't Christian, because I'm not Christian, and just speaking truth. All you got to do is adhere to truth, and people, regardless of their religion, who value truth, will be drawn there. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm subscribed to your channels. It's about the truth, and if the Bible is the truth, that will be the natural convergence point for everybody. But I think that as long as people just stick to truth as best as they can, that's the solution. Definitely not, browbeating people with the Bible. That never helped anybody. But yeah, a lot of people will follow truth, and the people that don't have any value for truth, I mean, they're just dead weight.
I agree with that. How about this as a topic of, husband love your wives, but why are men falling out of love? She just doesn't have a life. She doesn't have a life at all. Women have a tendency to stop doing things that they love once they settle in a relationship. And unfortunately, this is the kiss of death for long-term relationships and marriages. You have to maintain your life outside of the relationship and continue or reconnect with the hobbies that you loved when you were single. Do you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Most women don't have hobbies, unfortunately. That's the reality.
But I'm still in the house.
Yeah, Miss Lockhart, how many 30-year-olds do you think do crochet? Like
when I was 30, I crocheted.
The problem with the problem with the hobbies of women is that are activities that are not conductive when you are in the relationship. For example, when I look at my girlfriends and I said, "What's your hobbies?" "Oh, I like to go clubbing." Okay, so now we're in a relationship, no more clubbing. "Oh, I like to go to the beach." Good luck with that when you are 37 and your body is not the same as you are when you are 20 and now you're not comfortable going there. "Oh, because I like to go to," like everything that usually they used to do is an activity going somewhere. With the men, is not the same. "Oh, I like to play
vanity
basketball."
driven.
Yeah, I like to play basketball. I like to do jiu-jitsu. "Oh, I like to read manga, anime. I watch anime." Like it's very like those memes when every time a PlayStation comes and the shoots me or the PlayStation memes that the woman usually use. It's very they are very indicative that women fear men that can be happy without them, right?
Wow.
When they are with the dog playing, like that's why I think when men have dogs or when men have PlayStations and they see them smiling without them, I think there's a fear in them when they look at the man and say, "Oh, damn, he's happy without me. Like what the hell?" And on the other side, I don't think the men feel the same. That's why I think like most women, even if they have time to do something and they are not involved in this, keep up with the Kardashians, Housewife of Atlanta, and all the drama, like I don't really think that women have hobbies like that. So maintain your hobbies will be great if women usually add hobbies, but I don't see women go hunting. I don't see women go fishing. I don't see like Miss Lockhart again. You are of older generation, but that it's kind of
Some
not going.
women run from the fish. We went fishing one time, and my former mother-in-law took off running when the fish came out. We brought it out the water, and we were bringing it over. As we were trying to bring it over and put it in a basket, she took off running, thinking the fish was gonna fly. I guess I don't know, but you're right, Fatty. Go ahead.
Were you quiet for hours when you were fishing and okay with looking like, or were you talking? No, you know John. John went to
That's
school.
her. I can't,
see?
That's like the only place I can just, you go, you chill.
But that's
it's
the
like
point,
that.
right? Because
You can hear. Huh? Go ahead,
my father used to say that when I go fishing and I take you, we can be like quiet for an hour looking at in front. Yeah. When I go fishing with your sister, you know what John said, But,
Absolutely.
It's not fishing. It's them talking about something while he's doing something.
But you know what? I love going fishing, and all you can hear all of the sounds around the lake, right? You can hear the bullfrogs, you can hear the and then if you're in a place where you can hear some of even the catfish make noise, you know what I mean? If you don't realize, then you may hear a passing crane coming by, and it's like all of the things in nature at one point while you're sitting there with your cold beer, because I take my cold beer. Y'all can judge me later, but
gotta ask you.
Drink my cold beer.
Gotta ask you, what's your beer choice?
And my beer choice, boy, I've got a few that I like. But I would have to say, if just out there on the water, just going to that just made me take Stella Artois, something very simple. Stella Artois. Okay. Yeah, something very simple, keeps cold well. But I sit there, and I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be out there on the water, listening to nature and relaxing. What I don't like are the people who become chatty Cathy, like the radio me. My radio me is chatty Cathy. That's this. But, I always feel like I am an introverted extrovert because I do like to just sit alone and read. I do like to just crochet. I do like to fish and be quiet. Shh. Just be quiet. Yeah.
There's one thing that I noticed. Again, I'm not married. I'm not trying to lecture. Like I'm talking about people in general. Every woman that was in my life, especially even my mother, they can sit, they can do this, put their hands behind their butts and sit in silence for an hour. They can. First thing they do, they come home out. They don't watch TV, but they turn on the TV just to hear the sound of something. And then they go and then they grab on the phone, and then they're doing this, and then they're doing that. I think this is the more, I don't know what, like more the religious guys and talk about women being chaos. And when I talk about chaos, I think it's about the fact that they are not they don't deal well with boredness. Boredom. They can just, there's a very big problem, especially with this new woman, about staying still on the same place, be introspective, read the book, no music on the back. I think it's very difficult for them to just sit tight and enjoy.
What do you guys attribute that to? Is it just a new way? Is it technology?
It's mostly technology. I think it's mostly. Yeah, because you got Kindle, you've got like Fatty was talking about, you got all these distractions. And like you say, when you overseas, like when I was stationed overseas, they didn't have all that. They say, much is better. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't, depending on what it is. But for most marriages, most men, all they want is a quiet place, an office, a media room where they can just sit back and just, be left alone, or outdoor kitchen, because that's what we doing. That's how me and my wife divide up the house. I got about 2-3 rooms: the game room, my office, and the media room. And then of course outdoors and outdoor kitchen that once we get it. But we just, she has her spot where she goes, and she'll get on the phone, and that's what I love about her so much. She just She's not chatty Cathy fat, Ms. Lockhart.
Illuminated. Did you give her like a man cave? You gave her like a little space on
Hey,
your room?
yeah.
You have
Matter of
three, she's
fact,
only has
yes,
one.
yes. The joke in our house is that the way we got our house divided is once she gets her little project that we get done, and then things go down, we'll be legally separated. She can go to
Yeah.
her spot and I can go mine. I don't have to. I don't
You,
have to move out. And everybody look at
you,
me, because that's
you,
what I
you
tell
build
married people.
you
Go
build a
ahead.
man cave. You build a man
Hey,
cave, and
that's it,
you said,
bro.
hey, that's for you. Go ahead.
That's it. That's it. That's it. I'm
Go
giving
ahead.
her own little area. She's matter of fact, we got the yard. I'll show you guys once we get done with it. Her whole side of the yard is just for her. It's just strictly for her. I mean, she has it all, so, and then I'll have my side of the yard. So, and that's something you have to realize too. You guys have to find, I think Ronnie alluded to, you have to find things that you like to do. It's not always me dragging you here, me dragging you there, and I got to go here and I got to go there with you. No, hey, I'm gonna go to the what you call. Okay, go ahead. Do you? You want to go on a trip? Go ahead, go on a trip. You and your daughter, me and my daughter, go ahead, go on a trip. I'm good. I'm at that age. Like I tell the younger guys, once you get through grinding out there, hustle and bustle, man, and you get to a point in life where you can have peace, brothers, you're gonna enjoy it. If you want to sit down, sit down. If you want to watch videos all day, you can. It's your life. That's what you want to do, and that's what I think. When you get into the longevity of it, you guys are still individuals, but you still do things together. We met a retired first sergeant. He was counting the days. Those in the military, he had a short timer's count. I got 30 days, 3 hours, and 2 minutes.
I remember those days.
Yeah, he said, and Miss Lockhart, he has been through hell. He had a heart attack, he had a stroke, and he just recovered from cancer.
Well,
After,
listen, I'm gonna put you hold on a second because the super chats are building up. I want to go
okay,
ahead and read them. Ricky Webster's 9.99. Thank you so very much, brother. Says sending support, Miss Fifi. Aw, that is so precious. Thank you so very much. The next one comes from Robbie Privilege. Hey, sister, looking good, lady. Well, I try to keep up with you. That's all I know. Thank you very much for the $20, princess. I so appreciate you. And then also from my brother, how you doing, Global? Global Witness is in the house. If you guys haven't checked out his channel or Robbie Privilege, y'all, please go over there and check them out. They're very good. Global Witness says love and respect. Thank you so very much for that. Adding that word to the conversation is imperative. Another thing from Dub Will 4.99. Thank you so very much. You said, Mrs. Lockhart, I didn't know. I didn't know you knew, Vlad. So we appreciate that. Go ahead though. I want to finish listening to that.
yeah. So at the end, he retires in December, from his little part-time job that he got. He don't really do anything, but he laid out to me and my wife for the next 3 months, for January to March. Him and his wife is just going on cruises. They getting ready to enjoy life. They raised their family, raised their grandchildren. They told him, say, look, we getting ready to go into our golden years. This is it for us. We're gonna go and travel, have fun. If y'all need anything, if it's an emergency, hey, we'll come do what we can. But as for now, we're out.
But let me
Y'all on
ask you
your own.
something, because see, a lot of people hear us, and you know what? Men and women both like to be married. There are some men that love to be there, some men that don't. But to Fatty's point was actually chilling, but it's very true. And I want to just set that's like a totally different conversation altogether. That was profound. How do we get to the place where we are? I mean, at what point do you get past all those ripples and all the ripples and the turbulence and all that stuff? When do we get to that point? Because the next question that we have here goes right into, she has no passion for life and new experiences. I mean, how do you get past all of this, you guys? These are real issues. What do you attribute all that to? How did you guys get where you are?
You talking about the men, or are you talking about the women, or is it for both? this question is
I think this is for men. I want to know, letter A, how did you get where you are, illuminated, and then B, anybody on the panel can answer any of the questions that I just posed. And anybody in the chat want to come up, the link is there pinned to the top of the comments. Go ahead.
You guys that are married, again, I go always back to my father and my mother. I think after 20 years married, they started to move solo. And I think there's a lot of ignorance is a bliss type of feeling with each other. Hey, go ahead. Oh, I'm going to the church. Oh, I'm going finishing. Right? On the beginning of the relationship, that doesn't exist. I never saw, usually on a boyfriend, usually on a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship, there's no ego, there's no bliss there. There's bliss, like I'm hopeful that it lasts forever, but I know where you are. You're going to call me. You're going to message me. You get to there, like everything, right? But I think at some point, especially if you want that relationship to work, you have to live in a type of, do what you do, and we see you at dinner later, right? And I think that's what my question was tied to. I'm not willing to, I don't see myself moving like that, right? I don't see myself like turning off and say, you do what you do, I do what I do. We get back at the end of the day, we have dinner, the kids are at home. So my question to the married guys especially, and to the guys that are not married, but if they don't want to get married or not, is that any relationship that lasts is without the turning that flip of ignorance is a bliss, you do you, I do me, and we meet together later? Or do you think that's...
I don't know about that one. That one there, it's going to be on the keyword you use is individual basis. Each relationship is going to be different. And some people are going to, and that's why I try to be very careful when I give my humble opinion. Each relationship is different. Like I said, we just celebrated 40 years for me and her. And, you know, we still do things together. We still try to make sure that, you know, we stay in tune, you know, with the house and, you know, the responsibilities and things like that. But that individual thing that you talk about, hey, you go your way and I go mine, that's you know, I don't know how to answer that one. I can only speak for me and mine's. You know, we try to go ahead.
Let me take one thing, because you said, right, I was listening very carefully. Like, you have your areas of doubt, and now she's going to have hers, right? So it means that at certain point, you guys decided, hey, I'm going to stay here by myself a little bit more. You are going to stay there a little bit more. We know usually that, especially men usually have that man cave. Women usually have like a room where they usually stay. That's a kind of, some couples say, hey, they use the excuse, oh, you snore too much. Can I have my own room so you can have your own room, so we can kind of go along and be. So I think it's, don't you think that's like not the beginning steps, but like a light version of what I said? Like, you do you, I do me. We are all on the same ecosystem, because what I usually like about people is that I control the amount of time I am with them and what we do, right? I didn't see Miss Lockhart for a lot of time. Miss Lockhart, let's go to a dinner. I know it's 3 hours. We are going to have fun for those 3 hours. We are going to have dinner. We are going to enjoy it, because I know in 3 hours I'm not going to see her. She's not going to see me. We are going back to our own place, and it's perfectly fine. But when you don't have that choice, when you have to pass with each other and with the same bathroom and go this and go that, if me, and I love my fucking brother. Sorry, Miss Lockhart, for the.
It's all good. Go ahead.
I love my brother till that. But whenever we do those transatlantic trips outside of Europe, just the fact that he's breathing annoys me. Like, I'm walking on the street, like if we are on a place, I remember an argument we had. We were in Los Angeles, and he was paying attention to his phone, and I was annoyed because he wasn't looking to where he was going. I was like, look at where you're going, like, and he was on on downtown, everything like. And to me, it's like I usually think if I'm like this with a person that I will die on a second if a bus came in, how am I going to be like for 30 years with a person that I kind of like, but
well, you're overthinking it. You gotta get with somebody that doesn't annoy you. And that's actually I learned from all my own mistakes. My girlfriend now is much different from my ex-wife. And we actually do have, she's got her spot in the yard and I've got the whole rest of it. In a similar fashion. And I don't see it as separating in the sense of that question at all. I see it as I mean, men and women are different. And those differences are the point to an extent. So, you know, I wouldn't want her to be out draining oil out of my truck with me. I'm perfectly happy having her. She likes nature in its unkempt, you know, state more than I do. So I'm riding around the yard in a lawnmower, and I've got 2 gardens with vegetables and stuff, and she's got like this blob of weeds in the middle of the yard, but she likes it, and that's, you know, and it's, I don't know, it's together still, even though it is separated depending on what we want to do with it, sort of.
I like that. She's got her little, it's like she knows where everything is. It's her part of the yard and she knows everything is. I get that totally. I totally get that. But you know what? Here's what I want to know. Sometimes, Taylor, do you sometimes want to go fix her part of the yard for her?
I mean, every time I mow, I want to get just a little bit closer with it, but but I don't until like, you know, just now before winter, I was finally like, okay, we got to mow this over.
The whole thing, roll over it.
Well, we live in city limits, so we got a big yard and a lot of space, but it's technically out of code, right? So every now and then I just want to like get in compliance long enough to not draw attention, and then she can do it all over again next year. I don't care, but yeah, it's mostly because I don't understand why she likes it like that, but I kind of like the fact that she does.
It's her quirkiness.
And actually, that's because you said you are 30 and you're 30s.
35.
That's very rare. I'm 33, right? A woman that likes like going outside and taking care of stuff, it's very, very rare.
She's your age, and she doesn't like taking care of it. She likes observing it and having it just be unkempt and natural.
So she goes outside and just look at it like, oh.
Yeah, and she's artsy. So every now and then I'll catch her out there with her cell phone. You know, she got her iPhone camera out, and she's like taking these like down on the ground, taking an up close picture of something, like a bug on a leaf or something.
That's interesting.
It's like, you know, our idiosyncratic behavior. I think that's really, you know, let me tell you something. I think each of us have our own idiosyncratic behavior. And I think that's a part of growing old together, is learning how to respect each other's differences and like them. Now, to Fatty's point earlier, I totally remember that point in my life where I was like, he's breathing. That's all there is. Yeah. It's because he's just breathing. Please stop it. Will you blinking again? You got to blink. How often? How often do you got to blink? So there are those times where you feel like that. But I think that the reason why I said earlier that I believe husbands were getting pretty much, you know, the raw deal of it all is because there's so much that they have to contend with in tandem with some of the things that are on this list, in tandem with, you know, her you know, not wanting to stay, you know, kept up well, or in tandem with her, you know, just giving up, in tandem with all of that stuff, and in tandem with him not being able to have his own space. There's a lot of reasons why I think it's sort of incumbent upon the man to really, really, as Ronnie Mann said at the very beginning, to qualify the fact as to whether or not he's reckoned with himself first. Because in order for you to deal with an emotional person, and women are very emotional, our ebbs and our flows, our ups and our downs, one day happy, next day sad, one day looking for you to bring our happiness, and the other day telling you that we can create our own happiness from within us. In order for you to deal with a woman, you have to be secure in who you are.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely. Because I mean, at the end of the day, this might be extremely traditional for some, but at the end of the day, the man sets the tone. And if you don't set the tone early on, you're in for a phenomenal roller coaster ride that you were not prepared for. And it's your fault. It really is your fault. So, you know, there are detrimental negative effects to having your own space. Yes, definitely. There's a fine line. You should have your sanctuary and your peace, you know, your a place where you can recoup and have your peace of mind. Me also, you know, but collectively there is a fine line where there's a detrimental issue down the line where we have grown apart, and now the individuality has become two separate people entirely, when the whole sanctity of marriage is to be united as one. So, you know, you have to find that fine line and you have to have that balance. Yes, you know, you go about doing some things that are again, super traditional verbiage here, but you do things that are feminine and that are desirable to your mindset, and I'm going to do things that are desirable to my mindset that doesn't necessarily fit you, you know, your persuasion. I'm trying to say things, you know, even toned, but
just,
you know,
say
but
it.
At the end of the day, if you venture too far off alone, on the back end, it's going to be two separate people, and we don't even know each other. And every man, seriously, well, I'm speaking for every man, but I mean, I can heavily say that if we really think about it, as far as men are concerned, we value peace. We want peace at the end of the day.
I've heard that a couple of times this week.
We want peace at the end of the day. That is very desirable for a man. That is extremely, you know, it is high on the list. It is at the top of the list. We want peace at the end of the day. So, our women should be finishing our sentences, should know what we're thinking, should know our standards and what we like. You know, vice versa as well, but it is incumbent upon the man to set the tone early on. That's the point.
Sonia, I did not know you were here until I looked at Marcus. Hey, Marcus. Marcus is shout out and hello. Sonia Man is here. I want to say hi to you, Tyrone Church. B Rose again, hello. Sarah Brown, love you, sister. Bang Meister, Mike Guyver, hello. Dub Will, of course. Grace, hello again. Global Witness, Marty Lauderdale, Robbie, everybody and they mama. We want to say welcome. Here goes another question for you men who are to love your wives. She's a bit more of a mother than a lover. Be honest. Do you still treat your husband like your man, or are you all eat your vegetables and rinse your dish before you put it back in the dishwasher? Do you give him the stink eye when he orders fries instead of the salad, or do you choose his outfits because you don't trust him to select an appropriate tie? Men, have you had that ever happen before?
Not really. I mean, I won't. I'm very autonomous, and I've always known that about myself. And it's something that, like, I just won't have that. It's just not going to work, and it's going to be very apparent from the first time she tries to overstep that this is just a recipe for failure. She does. My girlfriend does dress me a lot, but that's because she does the laundry, and I don't know where things are.
I always had very good taste, so no need to outside intervention.
There you go.
When it comes to dressing and all that, I think more of it is like, unfortunately, some women look at their boyfriend and husband like a nice bag, right? They want one that looks good with them. Like this, sometimes they say, "Oh, I'm dressing yellow. Can you dress that so we can go?" Like they look at them like a nice bag. But actually, I didn't go through that in a while, and I think right now sometimes. Not right. I think women on the light-hearted type of thing, they usually like want to match and like all those cute stuff. But I think now we watch more the opposite.
Yeah, like, I can't stand that. I don't want you matching me.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not the matching part. It's the we are going there, like especially New Eve, all those occasions when women usually like to dress a little bit free, let's say.
Yeah.
Right. And we have to have the discussion about that dress that you're supposed to be turning back, but is on the closet for 6 months for some reason, because you right. So I know that a lot of people are in stable relationships and they have wives that, as soon as the husband says, "I don't like you wearing dress," like I don't like you seeing you dressing that, they go right back and they change the clothes. But unfortunately, I never met that person because they were very testing when it came to clothing, especially when I said, "Nah, hey, that's a little bit too much." Oh, why? Like, like what? Like a kid asking why I can have like 8 pieces of candy, right? Why? But it is what it is. I think it comes with the territory.
I think it comes with the territory too. Let's go to the next question here. She's more than a mom than a lover. Whoo, that's not good. Oh, gee whiz. Let's see the next one. Are there any more? I think that's about it for that for all the questions. But here's the thing. Excuse me. How about women who will play mind games? Because remember, husbands supposed to love your wives, but what do you do when you've got a woman who is very Jezebelian or very Eve-like, and that she's very manipulative and she tries to change the narrative to go her way? Is that somebody that you can see yourself married to forever? And if that's what you got, how do you do that? How do you stay with that?
Can I jump back to the last question about if she's your mother more than your lover? I think for dudes, that problem is on you. Why is she assuming that role? Why, you're dropping the ball if she's moving into to fill that niche. That shouldn't be a space that's open for her to fill. If you're living if you've got something going on in your life. If you don't, then she's your mother. So I think that was more on the men than the women for sure. But if she's playing mind games, like I married that, and that was a rough year of marriage before I filed for divorce. I mean, that's all you can do with that at some point.
Yeah, I agree. I can't see how anybody could deal with that. Go ahead.
I kind of think that all women play mind games. You just have to find one that plays a little bit, like a few of them, because that's their like. If you are conditioned to every single time you cry, or your father says okay, and then you go to college, you go to class, and all the kids on Valentine's give you gifts, then you have to choose one. Like all the pampering is something that you can turn off, unfortunately. And when you meet the guy at 26 or 25 or whatever the age is, there's some things that can be undone. Like he's extreme conditioning. He's like a person that is. Do you see I usually compare them with do you see the kid that I think he did something wrong, and the parents said he had affluenza because he was so rich and privileged that he couldn't go to jail because he couldn't understand consequences for his actions, right? I think unfortunately most women compute like that, and they kind of understand the consequences of life later years. That's why usually is easier to have these conversations with women that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, because now they can finally be honest about everything that was going on. But hey, mind games are a part of the game. If a man goes to a marriage thinking that he's not going to have to play, he's not going to have to play the game, I think he's probably done, because unfortunately a lot of women I usually like this analogy a lot. A lot of women are giving their husbands like the controller that is turned off. Like when we have our little brother coming on the room and wanted to play, and we give him a controller that is not turned on, and he thinks he's scoring touchdowns and he's doing all the things, but he's not playing. I think a lot of women come on a marriage situation and they say, "Hey, here's your controller. Go ahead, leader. Go ahead, leaders too." But he doesn't understand for years and years that his controller is disconnected and she's the one maneuvering around. So that's part of life. I think we should understand it.
And I don't think that's a problem necessarily.
No, it's not a problem. You have to juggle. It's like going fishing and not expecting for waves. You know, like, you know what you do. Of course, you can be on a leg that is kind of calm, but if you're not ready for them, like, what the hell are you doing on the boat? Go back to land. No need for you to be like, no need, but it's a part of the game. It is what it is.
I want to ask a question before we go ahead and get up out of here. Here's the question. The most profound statement you ever made to a woman, wife or not? The most profound statement you ever made to a woman, wife or not? And we'll start with Shaq.
Oh, wow. You know, I've been sitting over here just chilling, enjoying.
That's why I got
Actually,
you
look,
first.
I'm gonna be honest. I've been back and forth with like because I'm watching South Carolina basketball girls. You know what I mean, and I'm cheering for them. I like their program. But wow, the most profound thing I said to a woman or my wife, Damn.
Or not, the most profound, the most prolific, the most profound, the most honest, the most truthful thing you've ever said to a woman.
Okay.
The most profound thing, the most profound thing you've ever said to a woman, your wife or not. It doesn't matter if it was your wife or not. And it can't be nothing like, oh, I cracked a joke on her weave lit. No, I want to hear something that's got some real substance to it.
So you won't, man.
It wouldn't be me, big
you want me
baby.
You gotta make me think. Yeah, you want me to think and dig into
it wouldn't be me, big baby.
To the back of the cranium.
Let you skate.
Damn, most profound. Woof. Let me see. Most profound thing I said. See, I always been a peculiar guy. So the way I think, right? A lot of women can't get me because they trying to pick my brain and see. Because I always been just a nonchalant type of guy. Stern and nonchalant. So it's hard for them to pick me. So, damn, most profound thing. Ms. Lockhart, you got me with that one.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty.
It requires you to peel back some layers and be transparent.
Yeah, because I'm going back to all some women I've dated and back to my first marriage. So it's almost like taking a trip back down memory lane and trying to pick and dig into those deep pockets.
I'm not going to take you off the hot seat, but I'm going to let you toss it like a hot potato to one of your panel members here, and we're going to come back to you. So
because their brains might be quicker than mine, swifter than mine. Because once I'm gonna remember after I get off the show, everything gonna pop back up. I'm gonna dream about it.
I'm also going to give you the most profound thing that a man has ever said to me. So see, so let's go ahead, toss it like a hot potato to somebody.
Yeah, let me toss to someone up on the panel, man. Let me toss to Ronnie up there. Let me toss to Ronnie and see what he got to say.
Okay, well, since we got the South Carolina basketball stuff going on, and we tossing it around, I want to toss it to actually Miss Felicia and see what the most profound thing that the man said. You know, you can get it churning. You can get the discussion churning. I have something.
Okay.
I have something that's extremely profound, but.
The most profound thing a man has ever said to me, and he's a very quiet man, he just out of nowhere just quietly said, I would die for you.
Damn. And that's McCart, my boy.
And he's very quiet. He's not a wordy man. He's not a man who throws around a lot of words. He doesn't talk a lot. He's somebody who's more action than he is words. But when that right there was like, ooh, wow. I didn't know how to take that.
Didn't you say got him? Like no, you didn't celebrate.
Hey, so that brings up a whole other perspective, because that was profound to you. That might not have been the most profound thing that he has ever said to you, but that was the most profound thing as far as reception is concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely could be right.
So there's multiple things that I've said to my wife that I would view more profound than maybe she would. Like she would hold something higher on the list that, you know, was secondary to me. Even though, you know, I meant it with my whole heart, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm coming from a biblical standard. So I'm saying, like, when I'm going hard for my creator. At the end of the day, I'm going hard for my creator. That's my foundation, and that's my standard. So you know, for the wife, you know, I told my wife that divorce is not an option. Like, we don't even use, that's a cuss word around our house. We don't even say that word. We don't even say that word. And that is profound, because you're setting yourself up if you haven't laid down the preliminary groundwork, you know, because, man, you'll be in for a rude awakening day in and day out. But, you know, if the preliminary groundwork and the foundation is laid out, you know, and it goes back to being unequally yoked or equally yoked, you know, you have to have somebody that is of like mind and of like spirit, or, you know, you're going to crash and burn. You're going to crash and burn, or, you know, you just get a divorce, and then you won't have that strong marriage that you might have anticipated in your mind, that happily ever after type thing or what have you. But you know, my wife, divorce isn't an option for many reasons. You might find me missing, but outside of that, like, she's a phenomenal woman. I'd be the fool in this regard. But for me specifically, what was profound and was in my mind was going to be a hard pill to swallow. Wasn't a statement that I've made, but more of a concept that I let her, you know that this is what it is, and this is what it is. No negotiation. There's a hierarchy in my, you know, belief system, and Yah comes first in everything that I do, and Yah trumps my wife all day long. All day long.
How does she take that? She's here in the chat. How did you take that, sis? Wow.
But I let her know that she's secondary to my creator.
Okay.
As I sit here and think, not to cut you off, as I sit here and think about the most profound thing that I've said to my wife, well, ex-wife, and I'll think about it, because I stood on it and I meant it. Now, as I tell you, if I'm doing something, I'm meaning it's meaningful. So I'm doing it. I do. Some simply as I said, I do. Because I meant it at the time when I stood on it, and I was willing to take it to whatever lengths it needed to go. So I do. Was something profound, I would say that I said.
I understand that. I can get that. So it's like, you know, everything that was recited to you, you definitely approved of it, and that was what you meant to do. I do. Right. I agree.
Yeah,
I
do.
That's heavy.
I mean,
really
for the simple fact that we went to that level, even though, like you said, we said it was a shotgun wedding, but we were together. Hey, look.
Yeah, that was a shotgun, man.
Hey, but look, we was together. We haven't been talking about it. We was just. I'm a procrastinator, first of all. I'm a procrastinator by heart. So I do think women. That's why the duality of the male and the female, the woman and man, we are each other. Should be each other balancers, right? We should be able to balance each other off. So, yeah. We do need someone to balance us off. You know what I mean? Both sex, you know, so, you know.
Taylor, you want to go, or Fatty, you want to go?
Either way, I think that I've got one. Mostly I try not to say profound things. I try to demonstrate them. But I would say that for me, it's probably, and in a similar vein, it's not, the words don't sound that profound, but when I said them, they were. I got custody of my daughter in our divorce, and she was 2 at the time. And when she was about 4, she went through a little phase where, you know, she was scared of getting lost from me. And I think that had something to do with the trip when she went to her mom's for visitation over a weekend or something. But after about the second or third time when she had kind of freaked out because I left her sight in the store, I told her that I'd never leave her. And and I haven't. And we've been through, I'm only 35, but I've lived a lot in 35 years. So there's been a lot of coming back to that.
What about you, Mr. Fatty?
Actually, that's something not very recent, but something, I think it was the beginning of the end of my relationship. Like and it has to do with the dressing part. On the New Year's Eve 2018 to 2019, we were going to like an event, and there was a persuade of a kind of risky dress. And that year was, I think, the best year of our lives. We in Portugal, like the college is very cheap, but like it's very like extraining, like work. So I don't know if that word exists, but it's hard work. So I helped her with something like to pass the less discipline that she had in school. She brought a new car and she was feeling herself, and I was feeling myself too, because I was getting what I wanted. And at some point I remember her wearing the dress that I told her 3, 4, 5, 6 times, I don't want you to wear the dress. And what it came to mind and what I said was like, why, like, if should I be willing to be with a person or to die for you if you're not willing even to change the dress for me? And I think that was the day that she was like, okay, I see, like, I don't have my full, do you see the strong and independent, I can do whatever I want. I see that was the day when she understood that it was time to go. I ended the relationship because, again, when a man, unfortunately, and in my case, when men start to upgrade and start to get better and better, they have the tendency to want to experiment their new powers on the street, right? And we know that happens a lot. So it was okay, let's end this there, because if I'm willing to go to the extreme sacrifice for you and you're not willing to change a piece of clothes just because you want to take some picture to post it on Facebook, it is what
then
it
what
is.
are we doing? Yeah.
Not. You see the pampered, I want a relationship for what I can get, but not willing to sacrifice even the smallest thing. Or either I sacrifice here, but I don't sacrifice there. It reminds me a lot of, and this is very strange, because my first girlfriend was a lot like that. She was very street in everything, but she was attractive, so she wanted to use some clothes. And one time she bought like a really tight white pants, and she had like a giant ass. And like every time she seated, something was showing. And she one time tricked, like she said, I'll never wear that pants. And instead of throwing it or giving someone, somebody called me in school and said, hey, not Fatty, but hey, Fatty, didn't you have a conversation with your girlfriend about those pants? And I called her and she lied about it. And 10 years later, that conversation came to mind. I was like, oh, damn, here we go again. 10 years, but like nothing changed.
And you guys were still together?
No. 2 different people, nothing in common.
Okay.
One was a not mean-spirited, but like bad mood, but awesome person. The other was happy-go-lucky, but the vanity and the I want to look good and to show you around, and I want to be the center of attention, is something that I think is universal. And I thought I was speaking wrong, but then when I came to the field, like every time I came to the field, I was like, damn, this is not the woman that I kind of picked. Like most of women are like this, right? So I started to understand, okay, if this is a part of the game, I'm not going to be abused. Because the only thing that I miss being on a relationship is the sense of taking care of someone. And I think most women understand that that's the weakness of the man, right? Is that no matter what they do, like the man wants to take care of and he has pride on having it. So women usually try to use that against the man. Oh, you change the tire. Oh, you are so masculine. Oh, you are really good at moving. Oh, you change the got a new couch. Oh, you are really strong, right? And the
that's like eating. That's like eating the mushrooms, the Super Mario mushrooms, and you turn from Super Mario to Big Super Mario.
My mother used to say, "I know how to motivate your father. Just when he goes to leave at work, give him his food and say, oh, I'm really proud of you. You are very handsome." And my father would go with a smile on his face to the car, with me on the hand, like with me on the hand to go to school. And I was like, okay. She might be telling the truth, right? But I think women are very good at putting batteries on men's back when they want to. The thing is, when they stop doing it, it's over. So
it's over. That's true. I agree with everything you guys have all said, and I think it's amazing because it's a trip. You know, life is something else because it doesn't matter what culture, what ethnicity, what color, how much melanin you got, how much melanin you don't got. This is universal. Relationships and the experiences that we all go through are universal. They absolutely are.
When you guys talk about on the United States, Black community, white community, and like, come to Europe, you're going to find exactly the same thing. The only difference that is not overt, right? You're not going to find women flaunting Fashion Nova dresses like that. You're not going to find women twerking or being loud or being like. But
you mean they don't behave like that over there?
No, they don't behave like that. And even like one thing that is very different is that women in the United States are now being vocal about first their bad behavior and about what they want on men, right? I want a 6 foot. That doesn't exist here. It's like taboo talking about that. Really? If you say, oh, you want to tell men, nah, everything will do. Like, as long as he's taller than me, we are still out on that phase. But the problem is the results are the same. Divorce rates way higher in the United States. No one can stick together. Like people getting together just for the fun of it. Like the results are the same. So it might be the death rates are the same, but the dead are not screeching and saying like it's just a quiet death.
Where are you from, brother?
I'm from Portugal, Europe.
Who?
Portugal, Europe.
I don't know.
Portugal, Europe. He's from Portugal.
Oh, Portugal. Okay.
Portugal, okay. Europe. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm sorry for my Russian accent.
I love your accent.
I was trying to figure it out.
I'm sorry for my Russian accent, but it's the best I can do. I'll try to do better next time.
How many languages do you speak, or do you speak multiple languages?
Yes, I speak. I try to speak 4.
Oh wow!
I tried. 2, 3. I'm very confident about it. The other 2, I can listen and I understand everything, but I need to be on those countries to talk with people so I can be accustomed to. But
so what's the main dialect in Portugal?
Portuguese.
You're American.
You know, we ignorant
I don't know.
over here. Americans.
I don't know. People talk about Hebrew, and I've learned Hebrew is the language. So I mean,
but
you know,
to be honest with you, Shaq, Americans are so ignorant. We think we know so much. I remember the first time I went to Europe.
No, I asked questions. I don't know.
No, but I'm just being honest, man. Cool. I was dumping all kinds of stuff into the basket, shopping, took it and made a whole suitcase with all these products in it. Like, I just know I'm going into the bush. I just know I'm going into the bush. Man, I got to Germany. They had everything and more that I had.
Oh, you thought you were going
ignorant.
You thought you were going to a desert island or something like that?
I was so ignorant. And then when I get over there, they got better stuff. They had water and cartons that taste like the spring, and it was just delicious. They had just everything was so much different. But I tell you, it's so amazing to me how Americans, for example, will try to act as if we are the civilization. We are the epitome of that. And then we only speak one language, the one that our parents gave us or taught us when we were born. And then you go to other countries and other cultures and see other people, and they are, quadlingual, they're trilingual, they're bilingual, but we do not focus on the things that other countries focus on as it relates to education.
This society has handcuffed us, man.
Huh?
But I say this society we live in this North American society, has handcuffed us, I think, deliberately. We've been handcuffed.
I agree. Yes.
It's a lot of marketing. When somebody sells to you that you are number one, no matter what you do, no matter where you rank, there's no need for you to look around, right? If everyone told me I'm the best, why the hell am I looking at the guy? I'm the best. He needs to look at me. He needs to consume. And the thing is, we consume your media, we consume your movies, we consume your songs, but the outside perspective looking in, is not. Unfortunately, it's not the best one, because when you are so used to having so much security nets, when it comes to health, when it comes to education, when it comes to prison system not being private, when it comes to everything else, when you go to the United States, the stress of understanding that as soon as if I have a son, I have to pay for being born in a hospital. If he wants to go to college, I have to start getting money and saving money since the first day. There's a lot of stress going on. Yeah, a lot of stress going on. So I don't know. I'm happy to talk with you guys and exchange pointers.
Well, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're here, and I hope that you'll be a part of helping me become more successful. I can learn so much from you, Fatty. You are just.
We can talk about it, Miss Lockhart, again.
Yeah.
But it's more.
But as far as just being a person, I just really appreciate you as a person. I really do, because you do have a great intellect. You do have a different point of view, and that's the kind of stuff that you need around you, especially on panels like this or just in life in general. Because it's good to have people who don't think just like you. You know what I mean? Wrong. I can't have nobody that just.
I appreciate Miss Lockhart, but she should say, "Are you married? Why are you talking about family?"
I got a friend for you.
You have a relationship?
She's got a great personality.
Yeah, you should be. I would like you to be more condescending about the fact that I'm not married, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I think you do know what you're talking about. And again, look, you know what, when you said earlier about your mother and father still being married, hello, let me tell you something. That is honestly where you are supposed to learn how to be married, by having a mother and a father still married and living in your presence, a very profitable and a very positive marriage. Believe it or not, you have more of an insight on what a good marriage is supposed to be than people who are out here taking a stab at it multiple times.
But don't you think that? But don't you think that's, to be honest, I think I was kind of poisoned by my father and my mother marriage, because I don't see people, even me, I can recreate what my father did. I'm not willing to go to the lengths of sacrifice that he did to put this all together. And to my mother the same. I never, now they are retired, I never saw them so happy in their life. I never saw my mother giggling, looking at novellas. She was straight, I'm absorbing information, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep, I wake up, I go to the job. Now, every time I go to their house, she's giggling, laughing. And my father, the same thing. So, I don't know. Again,
well, you gotta leave that work environment. The paycheck 9 to 5 thing is, I did that for 10 years almost, because that's what you're taught to do.
Yeah, soul crushing, right?
What's that?
Soul crushing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is absolutely. Yeah. And I didn't realize it either, because you go to school for 15 years, and then I went to college for 4 more. Then I went straight into a job. And so you don't ever have a chance to take a breath and realize that this is making you miserable. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't until I fucked up, and lost all that I kind of snapped around and went, whoa, I was miserable doing that anyways. And now I haven't had I haven't had a job in 3 years, and actually that's sort of our goal that my girlfriend said. She said that she never wants me to work for anybody ever again, never have a job.
I have to leave at 7 p.m., come back at 8 p.m., having dinner. I think that's so crushing. I understood that when I'm lucky that I can work from home. But I understood that when I finished college, I thought, oh, now I'm the king of the world. Let me go on. Now everything is mine. And then I went to a news station to do an internship. And on the middle of the shift, I would ask to go to the bedroom. I'll go to the toilet, close up the toilet, sit on that shit, look at the sky without doing nothing for 15 minutes. Like, what?
That's universal, buddy.
Yeah,
what?
Oh,
yeah.
That's universal.
Going on? Like,
yep.
That was my reaction moment, and I would sit on the I would park and I would sit on the car more 30 minutes. What the hell am I doing? That was the okay, come to Jesus moment. I need to get away from this.
Shouldn't have to spend an hour hiding in a toilet stall every day.
Yeah,
if that's your life, then you got to get out of that.
That's the wrong place to work.
Now you know, yeah.
But they're all kind of like that. Like most of the jobs I've had are kind of like that. Mm-hmm. And I think that one of the biggest lies that we're told in society is like happiness is just over there. You know, your life will start over there. Exactly. You go to grade school to get to the next grade, so you can get into high school, so you can get into college, so you can get a job, and at some point, and then so that you can retire, right? So you spend your whole life not living your life until you're old, and then hopefully you've got enough money after all that you can start living your life. But most of us won't, especially us who are 30s, 20s. The economy's not getting better. People are not getting more prosperous right now. So I think people need to realize that life is now, and if you're miserable, don't tough it out and expect that the next phase is going to be just automatically going to be better for you. Like you got to make it better for you now.
But don't you find it interesting that most women have those type of jobs that you have to sit on the toilet for 30 minutes looking at the sky, and they still are selling to other women that working is so great and waking up
it's
at
such 7 a lie. Like what?
Why? Like why do you want to do what I don't want to do? Like if I could, I would stay. I would wake up in the middle of the day, say good morning to the kids. The kids are already doing something, and now, yeah, when I go watch Netflix, I'm going to them to the park. Like I don't get why. I get why they did it. Like feminism is the biggest religion on the West right now. That's the reality. People don't want to talk about it, but it's the biggest religion right now on the West. But the thing is, how can you experience something, finding that is that not what you want, but you still, instead of warning the next woman that it comes on next to you, hey, that's a lie. Don't go there. I went there. It's not worth it. And instead of doing that, there's like I don't know if it's a code of honor or something like that. Oh, you go there. Like it's like a divorcee that is miserable, trying to get the other woman getting divorced.
Yeah.
I don't get. I really don't.
Nobody wants to admit that they were wrong, and so you've got.
That's a great point, actually.
It's not empowering to have a boss, a schedule set for you, income taxes, all that shit's not empowering. But nobody wants to be like, oh yeah, I made a huge mistake for my whole life.
But you're right, because what's frustrating, and when you think about, like, I'm in my 40s, just turned 40 on November 8th. And when you think back what you guys are talking about, we go to school for 13 years and not certified in shit, right? And they tell us
when you start.
That's true though.
Yeah, they tell us how you don't get certified and bona fide and nothing, but they tell you got to go to higher learning, right? College is higher learning, 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, whatever. And that's supposed to solidify you as a whatever. I think that's frustrating when you look back on it. Like, damn, I went to school for 13 years, right? And didn't get certified in nothing, right? Nothing in life. No life skills.
Nothing.
That's very frustrating.
It's even worse than that. like my daughter's in middle school, and we homeschooled her for a little bit just to kind of break that stuff. But the stuff these kids are learning in school, like if I wasn't comfortable that I was effective at balancing out her worldview, man, they're learning all sorts of stuff. They're not learning to think. They're learning to respect authority and not think for themselves, and to be transsexual communists, basically.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. He said it. You're absolutely right. That's exactly what they're learning how to be. That's exactly what they're learning how to be. And that's a problem right there. But that's this place that we're in. And here's another part that I wanted to say before we close that adds right along with that. What we think is around the world is truly and honestly in smaller doses in other countries. The stuff that they're shoving down our throats here in America are being shoved down our throats, but they're also being spread abroad, but it's in small doses based upon the traditional standings of those other places. So in other words, if there are maybe a country in on the continent of Africa, if they don't go along with all that stuff that they're forcing down our throats here, they're not going to do it. Now, albeit they may have an experience with it in very small amounts, but nobody is taking the whole loaf like America is. America is just suffocating under this stuff. I mean, I don't know. Maybe
they have to do it here. So I think that they have to do it here, because if we're going to have a global currency, a global government, you have to take out the global superpower. And what better way to do that than undermine the family, which is the entire, that's the foundation upon which society is built, is the family unit. That's the core of any group strength. Right. And if you can undermine the family, the whole group is a wash.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I can see that.
I think you guys have three big problems. The first one is that you are trendsetters, right? You are trendsetters.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the early 2000s, when you guys were dressing like 50 Cent with the pants sagging, we were doing the same, right? We were doing the same. And now, like, you guys are trendsetters. The movies, the second problem, I think usually, like, when it happens that the United States, unfortunately, I think they preach a lot of God, but to be honest, I think for most Americans, money is God.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
And when you put money overall, I think everyone puts money over a lot of things, but when you celebrate people that are shitty people, but you just celebrate them because they have money, it becomes a precedent to all the people around, men and women, that say, she doesn't have a good personality, is a horrible person, is mean, is this and that, but she has money and now she's on top. So I'm going to be like that. If for people to love me, I only have to have money. Let me go right. Let me throw everything away and let me chase the money, right? So I think like that creates a precedent to other people to look around and to find a way to do some stuff that they shouldn't do. And the third part is how your country, unfortunately, is set. Because
we are the leaders.
Yeah, because looking from the outside, unfortunately, I think we all know that the lobbying and the companies on the shadows are running everything, and they give you like a false choice. They lobby both sides, and they say, hey, either you have this or the light version of this, and we are going to distract you with LGBT and the black community and the problems with this, while the money goes to the same people. And there's like a gigantic problem. But I don't know. While the money, like when the money controls everything, and when like the opinion of the few control the millions, like I think is unfortunately is going to be the same. I'm not saying that other places are not like that, but at least they have like dissident voices around, right?
Yeah, they haven't silenced everybody.
On that side, they fight each other, but then they go to brunch all together on the same
I
group.
think we should have a program talking about that. How do we balance that off now that we thrust into this money thing? You know, where money is the main thing to obtain. Everybody say they want to get to the bag, but when they get to the bag, I mean, they really once they get up there, what are you going to do with the bag? Actually, I mean, you still don't have any power and control because you know the people that you get in the bag from, they're gaining more strength too. So I think
They
we
are
need to have a
giving you.
conversation about that because Kyrie, he mentioned something very interesting, which I pretty heard before. Millennials from 1981 to 1996, we are the millennials, and we have the power and control. Everything that's moving from here on out is on us, right? Because we get the information from the elder generations, and we got the Gen Zs up under us. So we right in between to bridge that. We are the gap bridgers. It's on us to bridge that and make that difference, make that change, that hit that turning point.
I don't know, Miss Lockhart. Before we go, I think the subject about you talk about it on another platform. The money out of politics thing to me is a very interesting subject because seen from the outside, I think both right and left should have vested interest in and taking money out of politics. So the government starts to work for the people and not for the powers that be. But it was very interesting to see the amount of pushback of people that are inside of the United States fighting to maintain that system. To me, that was like, wow. Like really? So if one day we can have the
yeah, we can do it. We can do it like we can.
Conversation,
Yeah, we can do it ASAP.
That will be great.
I'll go ahead and schedule it. Whatever day, possibly next Friday or maybe sooner than that. I think sooner than that would be even better because the whole Kyrie Irving conversation piece that you just brought up, Shaq, I think that's like right on the tip of everybody's tongue right now. Kyrie, as well as the whole Kanye issue and everything else. It's got everybody like it's just up in arms. It's up in arms right now. Everybody is really talking about a lot of things that happen to do with finances, whether it be finances in personal life, finances with the inflation, finances with the movie stars losing all of their money, finances in the government, finances being shipped overseas that we are now paying taxes for, that we were never asked if we wanted it to be that way, and yet the money is going. I think that's an excellent conversation. Whatever y'all want it to be titled, I think I got a window over here open somewhere. I don't know where it may be. No, not me. Hold on a minute before I go much further. Hello, testing. It was you, Smooth. CL, it's you. It's you. It's your mic. I think you may have another window open that's giving us a little bit of an echo. I think there's something else that may be giving us echo. But anyway, yeah, let's do it. When you want to do it, y'all want to come back? What? Y'all want to come back Sunday night and have a conversation? What y'all want to do? Just tell me when you want to do it and we'll do it. Whatever works for y'all, we can come back and talk about it. Because to be honest with you, that really needs to be chatted about. No one's chatting about it.
I like that topic.
What we gonna name it? The mass manipulation?
I don't know.
There's a better one. That just put it business as usual, and we go from there.
I'll make it business as usual. I'll go ahead and get it together, and I'll do it right now while you guys are talking. Business as usual, and I'll do the thumbnails and stuff a little bit later. But I'll go ahead and do it. Let me see. I want to create
the root of all evil has a better ring to it.
Huh?
Hey, well, go ahead. I think that's more impactful.
What root of all evil?
Exactly.
Okay.
We just have to be a little bit cautious.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Because if somebody raises the root of all evil, and then we click and we say, "Oh, the Untouchables this and the Untouchables that,"
or we can say Junaid Monet, the money guy.
That?
Junaid Monet, that's the money guy.
Junaid Monet, the money guy.
That's the money guy. Yeah,
the money guy. Okay, we'll do that. We'll put it. Let me see if I got a pen here. My grandsons take away all the ink pens here. I'll just put it on a note because I tried to go in and do it under StreamYard, but it's got this new weird thing in here. Use a studio or pre-recorded video. Recording in the studio. I think I'm gonna make it pre-recorded studio. Just go here. Okay, what did you guys want to call it, Fatty?
That's. Let's go with the root of all evil.
I want the other one too, though. We can make it a major comment, and then we can make it a sub comment as well.
Business
what was the first
usual,
one?
right?
What was the first one? Business as usual.
Exactly.
And then the root of all evil. I like it. I like it a lot. I think that really needs to be a conversation and a half. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys the link, and I'll dress it up later. But we'll do it Sunday, probably Portugal time. If you can be a part of it, Fatty, that would be cool. If not, I'm gonna set it for maybe 6 o'clock, which will be 6 o'clock Central.
6 o'clock. I got another show. I'm helping someone out.
That's right. Oh no, we got to do it earlier, like 3 o'clock Central.
Yeah, it's only a 30-minute show.
I have a show.
30-minute show.
I have a show on Saturday. On Sunday is Black Panther Day. Like Fridays would be great.
Okay, let's do it next Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's do it the 18th. We'll just do it the 18th, and
we'll
do it at the same time. Yeah, same bat channel,
cool.
Same bat time.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool. So we'll do it that way. And then I'll give you guys the link right now. So you guys don't even have to wait. You can just hop up on it in the back and come on up. I'll put it in the back over here for everybody so that you guys have it in our, right over here in the private chat. Here you go, right there. And you guys go ahead and pick it up and save it. All right. So yeah, I like that. And then we'll just add the accoutrement to it later. That's what we'll do. Illuminated, we're getting ready to hang out. Get on ahead and scram out of here. Let me ask you a question. What is the most profound statement you've ever made to a woman, Illuminated, married or not? The most profound statement you've ever made to a woman.
He has to go to another room.
Oh yeah.
Right now he's ready to do.
He going to the man cave. Get out of the way, incoming. Anyway, you guys, we'll let him think about that. But I want to tell everybody, thank you guys so much for being here with us this evening. It's really been a really cool couple of hours hanging out with you all and getting to the bottom of some of the questions that people always ask. That one particular question is, what does it mean, husband, love your wives? Husbands, love your wives. I'm glad we were able to scratch at that, talk about a few things that maybe the wife should be doing that she's not doing. I'm glad we had the opportunity to do that. I want to thank each and every one of my panel guests this evening as we shut it down. I'm going to go ahead and remove everyone.
All right.
And you guys, you're welcome to stay. You're welcome to stay. But Illuminated is here, Fatty. Go ahead. What's your answer, Fatty?
No, that's not my answer.
What's your answer, Illuminated? Sorry.
Illuminated.
No, I just wanted to come in and say, when y'all had a conversation about finance, just let me know what time and what date, and I'll be there.
It's in the back chat. Go ahead and grab the StreamYard link. That'll let you come on in as a guest. So it's right there. That's the last thing that I put up. So it'll be next Friday. Next Friday at 6 p.m. the same time, 6 p.m. Central, the same time we met up today.
So is it Friday or Saturday? Friday or Sunday?
No, we're gonna do it on Friday. It's better for everybody on Friday. Yep.
Okay, that'll work.
Yep. So just snatch that and save it on your somewhere. Email it to yourself. I don't know.
Yeah, I had some housing issues that I got to take care of, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Enjoy the conversation. Want to support. Y'all be good. Be blessed.
You too. Thank you. You as well. And Fatty, thank you as well for coming out and hanging out with us. We're going to close out the show right now. We've got a wonderful song that we're going to close out with. A lot of folks here at the channel know it, and it is a song that's written and produced as well as performed by Ronnie Mann, and it is Step Into the Sun. Before we leave, I'm going to tell you guys what we always say here on the Lockhart Perspective, or our Headlines with the Voice channel, and that is that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. Please take care of yourselves first. And then after you do that, you can reach around, grab somebody, and take care of them as well. And until you and I see one another again, please continue to be blessed. Now enjoy this song with Ronnie Mann.
Do you remember where we're from? Pray you strength to carry on. They trying to take my inheritance, this arrogance. I'm trying to save them the embarrassment. I spit truth, they forgetting what the marriage is. The meek shall inherit the earth, the rest perishes. They taught us all to listen to Balaam with their palace and their caliphate. I'm destined for Salem, man, they rest is counterfeit, plus it's destined to fail them. Shake the dust off this city, man, who coming with me? There's a light at the end of it. I see you shine, getting life with the benefits. That's me and mine, holding fast to the legacy, whether the rain or shine. Do you remember where we're from? Pray you strength to carry on. Will you step into the sun? Do you remember where we're from? Pray you strength to carry on. Will you step into the sun?
To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping you along the way. Helping you to make it through another day.